Y'all, this new mic. Let me see. Okay, how about now? Should have sound now. Hi, Latoria. Thank you guys. So I was saying it is your girl V with Reality Recap. I am here for your tea talks that I missed this past weekend. I came on this morning to do a recap of last Thursday's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County. And now we are on Friday. So I am here to recap this past Friday's episode of Life After Lockup. Did you guys watch? Let me know in the comments. Let me ask my husband, Alex, I need some help real quick. Honestly, I don't even know if I could do it right now. The screen keeps going dark on the iPad, but it's no auto lock on. But I'm scared if I come off of this, will it? I don't want to lose the streams. All right, I'll just keep tapping on it. But yeah, I'm here to discuss Life After Lockup. Let's get into it. Did you guys watch Friday? Did you miss me for Tea Talk this Saturday? I missed you guys. Let me go into Do Not Disturb mode and get my notes up. Go into it. So, who's the first couple we're going to talk about? Of course, we're going to talk about Teenie and Rob and talk about them. Now, we picked up where we left off with Teenie and Rob's mother having an altercation. And my first question was, why ain't Teenie mama do nothing? She kind of just standing there to the side now. That was my mama. She'd have been jumped on top of Rob mom, but Teenie mom was a bit quiet and reserved in the situation, and I'm not sure why. But literally that's what I had in my notes. Why didn't Teenie mom do anything? Um, that would have been a more fair fight if it was mama against mama, but she really was laid back. Rob seems to think that Teenie was wrong for getting in his mother's face. Now, I don't believe in fighting nobody's mama. I try to give respect, but I see wrongs on both sides here. I feel like well, Rob's mom, she comes in and it's not a conversation, number one, that we should be having. Why am I talking to the iPad and not to the camera? It's not a conversation that we want to have at your son's welcome party to begin with. And she just comes off really money hungry, to be honest. She just wants money. She cares more about his money than she does her relationship with her son. It's wild to me. So, number one, that's not a conversation that you should have at his welcome home party. And then number two, right. Do I think that Teenie turned around and got in her face to fight? I think she turned around and maybe the bend down and get in her face wasn't necessary. But to me, it came off like she was like really trying to say, like, yo, what is your issue with me? I don't think her intentions was to get in her face to fight. But when you get in somebody's personal space like that, you have to kind of deal with whatever comes with that. I'm never a fan of getting into anybody's personal space. I'm just not. Latoria says on Facebook, is Rob mom delusional? I don't, you saw the behind the scenes footage where she's trying to say that production asked her to ask those questions. But again, didn't tell you to get up and start fighting. Latoria said Teenie was wrong and need to take accountability, but his mom was wrong for being very disrespectful over and over again. Right. I do see, like I said, I see faults on both sides. His mom has constantly, she brought up his ex-girlfriend and how she thinks she's so much better because she made sure she had money or that she was taken care of. You don't bring up nobody's ex-girlfriend to somebody's wife. Like, you don't do that. And then, right, you come into the welcome party late at that, and you come in talking like a little reckless, saying, she knew exactly what she was doing by saying, so when Teeny ain't there, I'm always gonna be there. It wasn't even like, if Teeny's not there. It was almost saying basically guaranteed that Teeny's gonna leave. And she took offense to that. So her energy was off. The conversation was wrong place, wrong time. And right, Teeny should take some accountability for turning around, getting in the lady face, even though I think at that point she was just frustrated. You could have just turned around and said, "Yo, what's your problem with me?" Instead of like, why did you have to bend down and get in her face? And at the end of the day, when Rob mom stood up, Teeny did put her hands on her first. That is true. She mushed his mom first. So even though his mom stood up and she was standing up and they was exchanging words, she mushed the mama first. Latoya said, Rob mom needs to get a man with her broke, her broke bummish ass. Honestly, I felt like in that episode, Latoya, both of them need to get a job. Latoya and his mama need to get jobs. Um, I just, and I'll talk about that in a second. Let me just finish, but I felt like honestly, both of them need to get a job. And just seeing his mom leave and saying how she don't want you to take care of your mother, you taking care of a whole other family, kids that's not yours, but they are married. And they seem to have a great family dynamic. The kids love him. That's his family. That's his priority. Whether those are his biological kids or not, he's taking on that role of, he wants to be there for these kids, then that's what it is, right? Like you can't be mad that he's has a wife now who has children, that he's decided that he's taken on the role of the father, their stepfather, and that's what it is. And she's like, oh, Teeny would be nothing if he left. She wouldn't even be able to survive, yada yada yada. But then on the other hand, what Teeny said was right. Like this mother has not really visited her son. Her son was locked up for what, 16 years, and seems like you can count on one hand how many times she actually visited him. So you want him to take care of you when you wasn't really there for him. Hell, none of the family even show up to the welcome party, making up excuses of allergic reaction. I ain't gonna say excuses because I don't know, but allergic reactions, hangovers. Nobody really showed up for him. So I'm presuming from perception that's exactly what you did while he was locked up. Yet you guys, his family and his mom especially seems to feel entitled to being taken care of. Rob didn't ask to be born into this world. So just because you raised him or you struggled to raise him doesn't mean he needs to turn around and take care of you. It also doesn't seem like Rob has the money that his family thinks that he does, which was a little perplexing to me, a little confusing because I thought he had a business, but he doesn't even seem to have the money that they're texting and reaching out, texting and reaching out for, but you didn't show up to his party. That's crazy to me. Latoria said, a lot of parents feel entitled and think their children are obligated to take care of them because they raised them. It isn't so, right? Even if she was there for him, he doesn't have to take care of his mom nor obligated. Yeah, she said we think alike, right? Like he didn't ask to be born into this world for you to feel like, and then on top of that, you expected him to take care of him when you ain't even come visit him. Like make it make sense to me. I don't get it. I just really don't get it. And it definitely came off like his mom cared more about money than she do her relationship with her son. And on top of that, I was looking at the car when she was yelling and saying, "You ain't gotta worry about me no more. I ain't coming around, yada yada yada." I'm looking and her car seemed all right. Like, the last season, I wrote that on my notes. Like, it don't look like no hoop ride to me. I mean, it had a couple dents on the side, but she had a little Ford Focus or something like that. It looked like, ain't like she started up and it was like, oh, nothing like that. But she said in the last season with Teeny, she's like, I barely made it up here. And you riding in that nice truck. I mean, it don't look like she barely made it up there to the welcome party. Her car looked pretty sustainable to me. But, side note, but I had that That's what my mind came across. So, I had to let y'all know what was in my notes. I don't know why y'all, but my iPad with y'all comments come up, it just keep going black. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I gotta figure that out. Um, and it just was sad to watch Rob. He seems, he talked about being torn between the two of them. I know it's a hard position for him to be in. And seeing teeny kids were upset. Her daughter was crying and wanting her to calm down, and they were all scared and nervous. It was sad to watch. I also think, although Rob is sad and he's stuck in the middle and really just wanting to enjoy his time home, he also has some accountability in this as well. Like, you should have been dealt with this, right? With your mom and her expectations. Be clear with her on what you can and what you're able to do. Not draw the line in the sand, but set boundaries, right? That's your wife, those are your kids. They come first. This is what I'm going to do for you, or this is what I'm not going to do for you. He definitely, to me, again, it was sad to see, but he shares some accountability in there. You can't just say, well, Teeny, you shouldn't have gotten her face. No, you should have handled the situation. That shouldn't even have been a conversation at your welcome party. That's something you should have taken care of or nipped in the bud, because you've been married to Teeny, what, 5, 6 years now? And she's still knocking at your door with this foolishness. Like, that should have been nipped in the bud, in my opinion. So, again, it was sad to see Rob being torn between his mom and his wife, but he also has to set some boundaries there, in my opinion. He owns some, he got stake in the game too. Let your mother know, not to say put her in her place, that's your mom, but again, set those boundaries and don't let nobody disrespect your wife, and don't let your wife disrespect your mom. Latoria said on Facebook, I hope Teeny is getting her kids a paycheck like Letitia. Teeny kids seem to be well spoken and very intelligent. She's doing a great job raising them kids. The kids love Rob. Exactly. I love their dynamic. It seems like a great family dynamic. And right, they speak. Honestly, the kids seem like they got the most sense out of everybody. Seeing them in the confessional and speaking on how they felt seeing the altercation and how a grandma shouldn't do, you know, um, their mom that way. And the daughter saying how she looked at her different. I agree. I hope she's getting a check for them as well on the show, because I thought the same. They're very well behaved, intelligent speaking young children, and again, to me seemed like they had more sense than everybody at the damn welcome party. So I hope that too. Um Teeny, when they got home, Teeny talked about fixing the relationship. She doesn't want to fix the relationship with his mom. She's just simply wanting him to fix the relationship. She's all for him fixing it, but she doesn't want no parts of to be in the same space with his mother again. And I'm just saying, like, how's that gonna work realistically? You're his wife, that's his mom. How do you think for the rest of your lives that you're married, you're never gonna run across or be a part of any events and stuff that his mom has said? That's not realistic, and they're gonna have to figure something out. Um, you know, that's just how I feel. It just doesn't seem realistic to think that y'all just ain't gonna do nothing together ever again. It's an unfortunate situation. I also wonder if his sisters and other siblings are gonna get involved now that TD basically mushed their mom. So I'm interested to see if any of that dynamic plays out or what happens, because it seemed like, Teeny was saying that she's cool with pretty much everyone except for, the mom. So does this change the dynamic with the other family members? I would think so, especially after they watch it. So I'm interested to see more. Um We also see Teeny take the kids to a water park where she was hesitant to spend $250 on like a water park pass. And she talked about how things were different when Rob was locked up, that he doesn't have the money that he had while locked up. How do you have more money locked up than you do in the free world is beyond me. But I guess being there so long, you have your connections and your ways. It seems like his money was coming mostly from gambling and things like that, is what she spoke about, which confused me a little bit because in the last season they talked about Rob having a business with his brother and that's where his money was coming from. So to hear that, he doesn't have the same money that he did on the inside was a little strange to me. And that's why I was saying, both of them need jobs. Not only Teeny, I mean, not only Rob's mom, but Teeny needs a job too. I don't understand why she can't work. Her kids are not small where they're not in school. I don't understand why she's not able to get a job too. If, financial situations have changed, which was a little bit obvious too, right? From the house that Teeny was living in was really nice. And not to say where they moved isn't, but you can definitely tell a difference in the kitchen and the cabinets and the walls. It's not as modern, nice and big as the house she was in while he was locked up. So, the business that they talked about in the last season of Love during lockup, I am confused as to what happened to that because I do follow them on Instagram and it looks like now, he's a truck driver. He drives trucks for FedEx. He went out, and got him a 9 to 5. So again, I don't think he has the money to be taking care of his mom anyway. So she should just get a job and show Shatini and help out if that's the case. Latoria said Rob is a big time, you know, whipper. I'm not trying to get kicked off this app, Latoria. She said, and have given that life up. Let me hush. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious. But I was just wondering too, like, they said he had a business, and I guess that was the business. And it seemed like they were saying most of his money from being locked up was coming from gambling. But yeah, things have changed, times have changed for a few of them on the show. Not only Rob, but Mike, which we'll get into. Things are different. They work in regular 9 to 5. So I said at the least bit, Tini should be an influencer or something. It looks like they're starting TikTok and they're doing little TikTok skits and dances. So at least, try to get some of this internet money or something, girl. But you're gonna have to help out, and your mom gonna have to get a job or lean on all these other kids. I don't know. Or just keep getting money from Rob's ex. Since you said he was helping you out anyway. But we'll see what happens with that relationship with the mom, if if he's even able to get in touch with his mother, because she spent off in her forward focus like she was never coming back ever again. So we'll see where this relationship goes, but I do think it's unrealistic for Teeny to think that you're just never gonna have a conversation, be in the same space with your mother-in-law ever again in life. That makes absolutely no sense to me. So I hope they figure something else out. And again, I'm interested to see, does the dynamic change with the rest of the family. I'm sitting on my hair, y'all. If if the rest of the family is upset after seeing that episode, or just with their mom coming back saying that they got into a physical altercation with Teeny. So more to come on this couple. Next, we're going to talk about Zarah and Troy. Let me go to my notes on them. So, Zarah, we know she's looking for Troy again. He left out the house in his hot pink do rag and ankle monitor and basketball shorts, and she hop in her car. She get dressed and take her little green mask off, and she hop in the car to go see him. Maybe if I do this, will it stop? I'm trying to see, how do I stop this iPad from going dark over and over and over again. But yeah, she's outside looking for Troy, riding around. And I literally said in my notes, y'all, he shouldn't be hard to find with this pink do rag, that wedgie in his butt, and that that ankle monitor on. I don't know what's so hard for her to find him. But she's circling around looking for him again. I really feel like Zarah should have been honest with Troy to begin with. If you don't know the episode before, Zarah told Troy that not only is she behind 2 months on the rent at their non-for-profit business, she's paid up on rent to the end of the month and then doesn't know where the rest of the money is coming from. It seems like there may be money on the way from her nonprofit situation, but I don't know if she filled out the paperwork wrong, or it's like you don't get the money as soon as she thought. But basically they are low on funds. So he walked out upset, and maybe walking out not the best thing to do when you're in a marriage, but she definitely should have told him before this point. As soon as you realized that you were gonna be backed up or rent, or that there was an opportunity that you would be, that's when you have the conversation with your husband. Not when you already in the hole 2 months on the your business, as well as about to be in the hole on where you guys are laying your head. That was, to me, irresponsible, and she should have told him before that. Um, and she thinking he out cheating because he left, and that's her own insecurities, to be honest. Like, you cheated on him, and now every time he step out the house, you thinking he out with a woman or the baby mama, and that's honestly where her issues with the baby mama come from. You are worried about you looking over your own shoulder, basically, because of the foolishness that you've done, and she gonna have to figure out how to get over that, because he actually wasn't even with a woman, as we saw. He was talking to a friend of his that he used to, I guess, run the streets with. And, sitting down and talking to him and telling him what's happening with the money issues, and kind of he was in the mindset of, let me go back to the streets and I can make this money real quick. And the friend was saying, nah, you don't want to do that. And I was saying too, like, Troy, you were just crying 2 episodes ago about how you left your daughter and how you were going to do right because you don't want to leave her without a father again. You got to remember those things. You can't take the easy way out every time. But I do also understand, when them men get used to that fast money and it's easy come to them, but you know how the saying go, easy come, easy go. So the fast money may seem like the best way, but in the long run, look how much time he lost off his life and with his daughter and with his family. It's not really worth it at the end of the day, because you be out here making buku money a day, then you go in making 10 cents a day for the man, making license plates and taking care of cows and stuff like that. Like, come on. So, I think his friend was good for telling him, like, look, this is not where we going. This is not what we gonna do. And he then decided to go back home. Let me go back in here because I hope I didn't lose my connection with this thing. Keep going out. Okay, it doesn't look like I did. Latoria said, in my opinion, this is what it is. The girl did a PPP loan. Look her up to see. She started a business fraud and misused the money. Instead of investing back in the business, she been spending it on personal dumb mess and choice. Something isn't right about that non-for-profit. I smell fraud, scamming, and not legit. Now listen. Do I trust Zarah? And I said that before. Do I trust her with a non for profit? Absolutely not. I don't know what she did, and what I guess, we're going to say what Latoria said is alleged. So me and her don't get in no trouble. But right, do I trust her with a non for profit, or to be rehabilitating, children with mental health illnesses, or, helping rehabilitate um, felons that just recently came home? Absolutely not. Not in the slightest. But yeah, I mean, either way you cut it, slice it, something's not right there. And I was wondering, how did she even create such a business with no background in it? Everybody looked janky at the office, like, is that therapist even credentialed? I don't know. But I totally agree. Something ain't clean in the milk. And it don't even look like they doing that anymore. It doesn't. It does not look like they are doing that. Retro No Hands said, oh, hello from Boston. Hello. Thank you for checking in on YouTube. But I agree with you, Latoria. Do I trust her? Nope. Do I think it's something fishy? Absolutely. And no, it doesn't look like from their day to day life that they're even doing it. I don't see them wearing matching polos with name tags anymore going into an office. Troy did come back home, and I felt like she was gaslighting him because he took the walk, and she's like kind of antagonizing a bit. When he comes back, they do get back on track. And I'm saying, like, Latoya, you saw in that scene, she got on name brand sunglasses, a Gucci pocketbook, and I think she had a Gucci belt on too. If you in that type of trouble, maybe you better start selling that stuff on Poshmark that you use this non for profit money allegedly to get these things. But I peeped that. Like, you putting together, y'all better go upstairs and unfold that money bouquet and pay y'all rent. So, do I think something's fishy's going on there? Absolutely. Latoya said yes, irresponsible. Right. Yeah, definitely something's going on there. You can't tell me otherwise. Now, who else did we see in this episode? Justine and Michael. Now, I Ariel on Instagram says, "Sis, just because it's say name brand, don't mean it's real." You got a point there. But that money bouquet was real though. She need to unfold that and sell it on Poshmark. I mean, she's no stranger to selling knockoff stuff and claiming for it to be, good. The streets say during the pandemic she was selling fake Yeezys on Facebook. So go on and sell the fake Gucci pocketbook if you need to pay that rent. That's just what the streets say, Ariel. But you ain't hear that from me. You dig? But that's what the streets say, honey. Now, on to Justine and Mike. I don't have a whole lot to say about them. They're going back and forth about if Mike should get a vasectomy. But it seemed like to me Justine has already made up her mind that she's going to tie her tubes, yet she wants him to get the vasectomy too. Now, I get she's trying to say that she wants to be 100% sure that she never gets pregnant again. To me, it seems like she just wants to stop him from having any more children, whether it be her, whether he step outside the marriage. She feel like, look, we already got 9 kids. You already, the fruit of your looms have have bloomed, honey. And she doesn't want him to be able to have kids anymore. Like, she want her kids to be the last kids. That's how it came across to me. Because if you're getting your tubes tied, I didn't understand why it was then necessary if you made that decision. And I get she's saying like, oh, you don't take my life seriously. You want me to, take the chance. But once you tie your tubes, I don't see her getting pregnant again. I mean, and I'm no doctor, but to them have them both do it, it just seemed honestly like she just wanted to make sure he don't have no other kids. Even if they don't make it and they break up, she doesn't want them. She doesn't want him having any more kids. Ariel said, I agree. Latoya said, I think Justine is manipulating Mike into getting that. He wouldn't have to get it because she is the one can't have kids. Do if she do pass or get divorced, he can still have more kids. She's being selfish, right? I think that's what she's trying to do. That's how I took it. Like, she just wants to stop him from her kids to be his last kids, and that's it, the end all be all. And I would agree with the manipulation, Latoria, because I feel like she manipulated him into moving to Vegas to get in that huge ass house. I don't think it's the one that we saw them go look at with the whole like. They still look like I think they have a house with a pool and all that in Vegas, but they maybe they did need a huge house with all 9 of their kids and their blended family, but he made it clear back then when they were looking at houses that he really wasn't trying to spend that much money. And she went ahead and put him in that situation where he got the house. And now, again, she left a great job to be with him and to be pregnant. I don't know why or why she couldn't pursue the career in Vegas, but she's another one not working who now needs to get, she has a young child. You need to figure out some help with the older kids in the house or something. And she needs a job too. But that's a lot to me where Mike's frustrations are coming from. Mike doesn't have the money he had when he was locked up buying diamond chains and Mercedes trucks and all of that stuff. Like, his lifestyle has changed. He's not making that money anymore. He also probably done spent majority of it on her. Hey, Love D, nice you made it. Yeah, I told you guys I have two more Tea Talks to do. I'm just catching up on the shows that I didn't get to do my Tea Talks this weekend because I was traveling. So I don't know what time I'm doing them to even put up a flyer for y'all. Like I did Orange County this morning. The kids had to go get their hair braided. We came back. And now I'm doing Life After Lockup. So I still have to do the mid-season finale of Love and Marriage Detroit and Sunday's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, which was a doozy. It was not a good episode. It was definitely a snooze fest, but I'm gonna recap it for y'all. So yeah, just set your alerts, girl, and make sure y'all are subscribed to my YouTube because listen, it is fly by the seat of your pants right now. I'm trying to get them all done tonight if I can. You like the noon vibes. The noon vibes will be back, Love You Nice. I just gotta get these past shows out, but I'm hoping to do a noon show tomorrow for tonight's episode of Love and Hip Hop ATL. So the noon shows will definitely be back. I'm just, getting pumping out these shows, recaps of the shows that I didn't get to recap with you guys over the weekend. But yeah, Mike is trying to stay on the straight and narrow path. He has his job at the moving company and he doesn't have it like he used to. And Justine's going to have to adjust to that lifestyle and get a job. She was doing something in the medical field. I forget right off the top of my head what it was that she was doing when she quit the job, which I thought was insane. But she needs to go back to that. Hey, off the top sports, thank you for checking in. Ariel says it was I hope the season is not like Sunday. What are you talking about, Potomac? Yeah, I'm hoping Potomac get better, but if we fighting over who going to who party in the second episode, I be trying to figure out am I jaded, Ariel, because Salt Lake City is serving the girls, but I was very highly disappointed. Love D Nice said, and how Mike when was staying in that big ass Vegas mansion, they barely got a comforter set. Goodbye. Don't start nothing now. Love Nice said she was a nurse. Yeah, she definitely was in the medical field and she needs to go back to that. Dust off the resume, get the baby in daycare, and do what you got to do. April, thank you for checking in on YouTube. Said nice to catch you live. I'm a new subscriber from South Carolina. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. And thank you for subscribing. Tell a friend to tell a friend, guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get back on my schedule, April. I'm glad you caught this live. I'm definitely going to get back to my noon tea talks on recapping the shows. I'll be back to it tomorrow with tonight's episode of Love and Hip Hop ATL. I'm just catching up because I was out of town this weekend. So I'm just, the shows that I didn't get to recap, I'm just in between taking care of the kids because they was out of school today too and all of that. I'm just, trying to get caught up because I don't want to disappoint YouTube and you guys and miss any shows. But Ariel said, yes, I'm living for Salt Lake City. Me too, girl. I was like, do they just have me in a chokehold and I'm not seeing the good in these other shows? But I don't like Roni. I ain't like them last season, so it can't be Salt Lake City. I don't like Roni. They aggravating. Potomac, I always have my hopes up for them because, I'm trying to support my girls. But the friend or foe between Giselle and Karen Child, we going to get into it when I do that recap, but I am not feeling it at all. I'm hoping Beverly Hills got something coming when they come back soon. But Love D Night said how they was making more money in jail than the outside world was tea. That's what I said, Love D Nice. You joined a little bit late, but that's what I said. Like the fact that Rob and Mike were making more money inside than in the free world is beyond me. But they have scams that they can do when they locked up. They gambling, they selling stuff. They can still work the streets from the inside and maybe not get in trouble. And now they're on the outside trying to, walk the straight and narrow. Cause especially Mike, he's still on parole, I believe, right? For a long ass time. So now they have to walk that straight and narrow because it ain't nothing but being locked up on the outside and it's worse, and you could get sent back. So yeah, but both of their women are healthy and can work or at least get some internet money. Like be an influencer, use the following that you have to your advantage. Like do something. Cause I don't really make no money off of this, but y'all, they already got a following from the TV show. Do something with that. Like Monique, Monique who was dating Derek, she went on to influence for hair and not selling pee. Love D nice. I don't know if they wives. If you talking about them selling pee, girl, get out of here. Or did you talk about the men selling pee on the inside? I don't even know because you put an eggplant up there, child. I don't know which one you mean. But yeah, they both healthy and they need to work. But Monique, with Derek, she's promoting hair. She is um doing her weight loss journey. She was doing club appearances. She getting to the bag. Why can't nobody else do that? Not the men, girl. Not they selling the pee on the inside. That's a whole lot to be selling. That house that Teeny was in, and and Mike, he's sending home Benzes and flowers and big ass rapper chains with her name on it, all types of stuff. The Juju chain. Maybe she should sell that. Sell the chain. Do something. I'm sure there's a plethora of pawn shops right there in Vegas. Latoria said it's a different world in there. Like one cell phone will cost about $2,000. That's what I'm saying, right? Like people will pay high amounts for small things, like a little bit of trees to smoke or anything, and they will charge buku money because you can't come across it. And he had relationships with the officers. He been in there. They could probably sneak things into him and that he could sell, like Latoria said, like a cell phone, some a little bit narcotic or something like that. And boom, you making buku money. So yeah, they have ways, right? For sure. So I can see how, I guess, in that manner, how you can be making money on the inside. But the whole time y'all was in there, nobody made a plan for the outside? Nobody? Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that's why you stressed. Latoria says, so it's a lot of money to be made in prison. Agreed. April said, I'd be shocked if the new Roni will come back next year. I'd be shocked too. I don't think they're gonna let them go forever, but it needs to be some shaking up there. It cannot survive as is. It really can't. It just can't. But nonetheless, with Justine and Michael, he's out, stressed out, doing his moving company thing, and Justine's son calls her while, Mike's son calls his. And it just seemed like to me, that's what children do, especially siblings. They had a little scuffle, two boys. But it was sad to hear that I literally wrote my notes, y'all, blended family problems. But it was sad to hear that Justine's son allegedly said something like, my mom is better than yours and stuff. But I guess, maybe they should read a book or something on how to navigate blended families and bringing two families together like that. But that was sad to hear that he could have possibly said that to him. And and Mike got extremely upset because Santana, which is Justine's son, had threw his phone and shattered, and he was like, yo, this is a $1,500 phone. And he like, well, I can't just get a replacement. No, sir. Your daddy is not bringing it in like that. You see him going out to the moving company, taking up extra shifts. So I think that's where his frustration came from because he punched the wall and stuff. And it's like he already got the world on his back. His wife wanted him to get a vasectomy. She's in a high risk pregnancy situation. He's trying to keep up with the bills. He's the only one working. He's working, a hard job at a moving company. And then you out here throwing a phone. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back, and we saw him kind of explode. Not the best thing to do in front of children, to be punching holes through the walls and stuff like that. But he's like a teapot, just whistling at this point, and it definitely boiled over last night. So we'll continue to see what happens there. Does he get the vasectomy? Does she get her tubes tied? What are they gonna do? And we'll go from there on what happens with the blended family. But I'm sure it's not gonna be easy. Hell, these are, me and my husband, we have our two daughters together and they fighting all the time. And they just 3 and 4 and they fighting all the time. So I can imagine, a house with 9 kids in it, it can be a lot. So those are things, growing pains, they're gonna have to figure out and try to learn how to navigate. So wishing them the best, but we'll see, does he get the vasectomy or not? But he had me cracking up. He was like, I don't want nobody down there snipping something. What if they snip the wrong thing? I said, just say no. You don't want to do it. What man really does, right? So figure it out. But I was on pale board with him. Why she can't just get the IUD? It works, don't it? You know? Why she can't just do that? Why we gotta go so extreme? But she's saying that again, she don't want no chance whatsoever. Nothing is 100% guaranteed no matter what you do. So again, I just felt like she just don't want him to have no more kids and want her kids to be the last ones. Now, who else did we see last night? Bianca and Daniel. Let me go to my notes on them. Now, while I'm bringing up my notes on them, Latoya said on Facebook, I'm glad he left because Mike was flipping out. It was sad to see. It just reminds you that men sometimes take on a lot and tend to forget that. Yeah, he has a lot going on. That's why I say he like a teapot just whistling. And that was just, you know, it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, while I'm bringing up my notes on Bianca, Bianca got on. Oh, my iPad about to die. Let me plug it up, y'all. So I don't lose y'all. But yeah, Bianca been on social media well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but she got on social media last week and announced that she was taking a break from social media until the episodes or till the season was over, because she says she's been getting a lot of hate mail, and she says she's even been getting threats over her life, that people are going to unalive her because people are just not liking her on the show. So while she says she can take the comments, the threats is something that she cannot put up with, and that she would be taking a break from social media. That's what she said before this episode aired. Love D Nice said again, Bianca too young for TV. I'm gonna keep saying that. Yeah, she's 24. She's young. She does not know how to navigate being in a relationship with a recovering alcohol and drug addict at all. And Love D Nice said, I know they was dragging her. Yeah, she said that she's getting a lot of threats and things like that, and that she would be taking a break. Latoya said, I'm over this little girl. Please get her off the show. Yeah. She just doesn't know what she signed herself up for, period. The show and in this relationship. She's very naive and want to do pretty much everything backwards. But we back at this whole coffee situation. She's still talking about how he didn't want to make coffee for her after all she's done for him again. Naive and young. He don't owe you his life because you decided to reach out to him because you were interested in talking to someone who had been arrested for a DUI. You reached out to him, you hollered at him, you decided to take care of him. He don't owe you nothing. Nothing at all. Especially not no damn cup of coffee. He had already cooked breakfast. Be grateful for that, sis. Cause he did not come looking for you. And you know, she's still saying how he owes her, and I said in my notes, she young, y'all, just like y'all saying. She does not know how a relationship works at all, clearly. Um they get on the road to visit the parole officer to get approval to live together, which they did get. And on the ride back home, she's talking to Daniel about how. Now, listen, let me just say this. Daniel shares some accountability in her delusion because he should not have proposed to her while he was locked up. He just did it off the whim of, oh, this girl liked me. I want to keep her talking to me. Let me go ahead and propose, even though that he had no intentions on actually marrying her. I'm not going to say not at all, but he had no intentions on marrying her right away, so there was no need for him to propose to her in jail. He also has some accountability in her delusion because he's sleeping with her and not pulling out. So all you already know, she had a baby which she lost. She wants to be a mother. I don't think she hid that from him. Yet You sleeping with her and not pulling out. But he say that they had agreed that she was gonna get plan B. I wouldn't even mess with a sis like that. Like I ain't even messing with a bitch like that that you think I'm a trust that you gonna get a plan B. Nah. So does he share accountability in her delusion? Absolutely. But also for her to want to have a baby and get married with someone that's only on their second day out of jail is crazy. Let's just be honest. That's crazy to me. Like, come on now. The man the man only been home a day and a half and you already talking about children, you talking about children, you talking about marriage, yet he owes you, yet he hasn't done anything to take care of you. He has to provide for you. You have to allow him to get stability. And that's why I think we're all in agreement here with, the young mind, the naive mind, that it don't work like that. Where he's just gonna come home and snap his fingers and he's gonna be financially set. It's gonna take time for him to even find a job with having a record. We all know that. She doesn't seem to understand that. And he's also on parole. So he's basically locked up on the outside. So she doesn't really get those nuances and what it's going to take, on top of the fact that he's still a recovering addict and an alcoholic. And you want to drink in front of him, party in front of him, want him to marry you, want to have babies. Like, it's just a whole nother level of delusion with, and just young and naive. But he has no intentions on marrying her anytime soon. And I hope she understands that. They do seem like they're still together now though. It looked like they're not in the apartment that they was. They moved into another apartment. They're still in Arizona. They got a nicer place. I don't know if he's working yet because he hasn't put any exactly, Latoria. Young, dumb, and full of y'all know what. But yeah, they look like they got a more modernized apartment. They moved into about 3 weeks ago ish, and they're still together. Is he working at? I can't say, but they are still together. Um, we also found out this episode that Daniel was married before. So that's also another reason why he's married before. He has a 13-year-old son and he owes hella child support because he basically was an addict and not working the entire time. He has to build a relationship with his son. Hopefully, his ex wife will do that. So, again, knowing that he's just 2 days home, recovering addict, now we know he has an ex wife, he has a ton of child support that he has to pay. She needs to understand she kind of comes underneath all of that because I'm sure he owes the whole 13 years of child support. So again, I just don't think she's thinking or being mature about the situation. It's just I want, and not really looking at the whole picture and everything this man already has on his shoulders just coming home. And these can be stressors, right? That could lead to him to go back to drinking or using. So I don't know if she's a good fit for him, but they still together. So it was just like I literally wrote in my notes, y'all, Bianca, wake up and chill out, sis. Um, yeah, and he said, they talked about using plan B. I wrote in my notes too, that was a dumbass plan. Should have just used the condom or pulled out, bruh. Because clearly, she wants a baby and she's gonna do anything to get it. He gonna have to watch her literally swallow the plan B pill if she does take it and look under her tongue when she's done. Because I wouldn't trust her knowing how bad she wants a child and to be married. So we're gonna keep following Bianca and Daniel's toxic story. Y'all stop giving her a hard time on these internets. And, I mean, y'all can have y'all opinions, but why y'all gotta send her threats to that y'all gonna unalive the girl? Like, is it that serious? Cause she wanna be young and dumb? Is it that serious, y'all? Leave that girl alone. But yeah, she said she had to take a social media break because y'all is a mess. What y'all be saying to this girl in her DMs? My goodness. But We're gonna keep following their little stupid ass story, their little toxic story, and see where it leads us down the rabbit hole. Brittany and Key Rock. Now, I ain't got a whole lot to say about Brittany and Key Rock. Number one, just a small recap. They were planning to move to Texas, to Houston, Texas. She wanted to go out there and kind of finish pursuing her like beauty, nail career and going to school for that. Key Rock, he wanted to do the HVAC business out there. And they made all these plans to move to Texas without having the final approval that their, probation, parole, whatever could be moved from the current state that they're in to Texas. They got their whole family on board. Well, Key Rock got his family on board, his mom and brother, to move to Texas with them. They're packing up their whole house. Key Rock going to get an oil change so that they could, leave and travel to Texas. And while doing that, gets a phone call that the paperwork hasn't been approved for them to go to Texas. Why the hell would you pay a deposit on have an apartment, have your mom and brother pack up their entire lives without you having approval first? That made absolutely no sense to me. So am I annoyed by them in their story? Absolutely. Because there's no way you can make those type of plans without knowing if you got approval with your parole to go to that state. Why would you even do that? So they now have left their apartment. They have nowhere to stay. The parole officer on the phone said that they could stay at a government hotel, which looked pretty decent. I was expecting it to be way worse than that. Like, I was picturing roach infested, dirty, um, a chalk outline of a dead body on the floor or something like that. But it looked pretty decent. And I was saying it might not be in the best of neighborhood, but it was way better than I was expecting to look like. And we see Key Rock, he on the phone calling the Houston apartment that they secured, which was probably, like what she said, was hard enough in itself, because it's hard to rent when you have an arrest record. They finally found somebody. But again, they paid a deposit and the first month's rent out there in Houston without knowing if they were approved. Why would you do that? Why? Love D Nice said on Instagram, ain't no way they waited the day before to see if they was approved. Now that's some TV shit, yeah. It's probably conjured up for TV, because I did see they are in Houston now. They are in Texas. I don't see Brittany doing the nail beauty shop stuff or beauty, schooling. I just see them out there letting everybody know that they out in Texas, like as if they want y'all to book them for club appearances or something. I don't see Key Rock doing HVAC stuff either, but they are out there. But could have been made to be for TV with all this tea that Shantae and all of them have spilled? Probably so. Latoria said, I'm glad Key Rock decided to finally accept accountability for the mishap of not being able to move. Brittany, to me, seems dumb as a bag of rocks. Yeah. Key Rock had to take some accountability. And then also on the fact that he still waited. He knew this and still continued to watch his mother pack up her house for another day or so before he told her, was crazy to me, too. Definitely was like, what are we doing here? Love D Nice says Texas is a second chance program, so please. I don't know. I was thinking Texas to me seems like I think of Texas almost like Florida, like its own country in itself. No way were they gonna happily accept not one but two felons moving there together into their state. I I don't know the timing. I could see them, and it didn't even seem like they said the paperwork was denied. It was just still pending and had not been approved. So if they are like a second chance program, cool, but they hadn't gave them the second chance yet. So why are you planning to move? I have no idea. And then really thinking, Key Rock, he calling trying to get a deposit back and a first month's rent back in Houston. Like, yeah, right. That lady said we holding this off the market for you. Why would we give you the deposit back? I think that was just a shot in the dark, because he had to know they were not going to give him that deposit back. I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah, the mom, you got the mom packing up. She's talking about how she's tired, doing all this packing. And then when everything is packed up, you decide to tell her that, you know what? Yeah, we not going, or we can't go. The mom said, the hell with y'all. And she got in the car and left anyway. The mom and the brother, they said, we going. Y'all may not be going, but we still going. They pieced out. Because again, where were they going to stay? I just think they handled the whole situation wrong. They should not have waited to the last minute or made any plans without getting approval first. I know, it's hard to kind of time everything and find apartments and things like that, but you could have stayed in the government motel out there if that was the case, instead of doing it so backwards. So we're gonna follow their story still and see what happens with them and how they get out there and how that happens. Is Key Rock mom ever gonna speak to him again? Because I wouldn't, after I done enslaved and packed up my home that I probably been staying in for decades with tens and thousands of boxes for you to tell me that you can't go. That's crazy. Latoria said Key Rock should have learned from Mike and Justine when they had that problem, right? You can't do nothing until you get approval when you're on the outside. Like, what is wrong with everybody in general? You got Moses over here going to Huntsville when he ain't supposed to. You got Jen's husband leaving the country without permission. Like, I want y'all to know the rules of your probation and parole and make sure you're doing the right things before you make any moves. Like, you can't go out of the jurisdiction. What is wrong with everybody? Nobody's reading the rule book. Don't they give you the rules? Don't they give you a packet? They need to have orientation or something because everybody's losing their daggone mind. But nonetheless, we'll see. Like I said, they are in Texas now from their Instagram. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But everybody has lost their minds. Love the United said they've been doing it. They just wasn't on camera. True. Well, now you are. That's another reason why to have your have your ducks in a row. You on camera in front of millions of people. Like, come on. That's another reason to have your ducks in a row and not be on here looking foolish. Crazy. But the last couple that we saw last night was Louis and Melissa. I'm not gonna say I'm shocked they're back, but they don't have a whole lot of drama going on. This was the first episode that we saw them. They weren't on last week's episode before that. I had in my notes, her nose looks good. It's still a little big, but her nose looks better. And you can tell in some of the scenes it looks swollen, and then when they do their confessional, as you see here, the nose looks smaller. It still looks big to me right here, but I guess it's improvement from what she had. Louis is working 500 jobs. He's having a hard time nailing down a career because of his legal background. Bianca, take note. He's still not a good big nose yet. It still looks a little big. It looks like it could have been reduced more, but I guess, it's better than it was. Now, Bianca, take note. Louis having a hard time finding a job. He's been out for some time now. He's still having a hard time. So he's, working 500 different jobs. I admire his hustle, though. So, you know, Bianca, take note. Teeny, take note. Justine, take note. Get some jobs and help your men out. But yeah, I said I admire his hustle. And fun fact, guys, I let you guys know that Louis was locked up with Christian, Jennifer Williams' husband. They were locked up in cellmates together. There is an alleged story out there by attorney Simone Redwine that Louis got scammed by Christian too and lost money. Yikes. But just a fun fact I thought I'd share. I had it in my notes. Um, I don't know why Louis had this idea to do a polar plunge in the Jersey Shore when it was like 40 degrees outside. He decided they're going to do a polar plunge, but they didn't even make it to their kneecaps in the water. And I also don't know why Melissa thinks that because she agreed to do this polar plunge that now she deserves a ring. Lovely Nice said, really? Yeah, fun fact. They they were locked up together because you remember Louis was in a Georgia jail and he, asked for permission to be transferred to New Jersey with his parole. And that's where Christian was locked up in Georgia when he did his 7 of his 10 years. They were cellmates. Yep. Fun facts. Latoya said on Facebook, I was proud of Louis. Louis got 4 jobs: a pizza place, a smoothie, personal trainer, and selling supplements. That's what I said. I admire the hustle. And these other folks on this show need to take note and help out their families. Latoya said Louis making a dumb decision to spend all his money. He have to save some. Do he realize he will be broke and Melissa will start back yelling at him? What you mean start back? She ain't never stopped. Start back. She was yelling at him in the episode, mad about this ring. And then she has high expectations. She wants a 2 carat ring, knowing he's struggling to get a job. She's not thinking either. That money to me should be going towards something sustainable, like a house. And yeah, it was unrealistic expectations to be putting on him and to be pressuring him knowing how hard he's working. And right, he's saving up all his money because he do wants to get her this 2 carat ring, but I don't think that's the smartest thing to do. And neither does his mom. Like he told his mom, she ain't gonna be happy if it was a 0.2 carat ring. She don't want the man to get married, and she don't really even like Melissa like that just because she one of them moms. She think that's her man that she don't want to let go. But she was making sense. Like, you sure you want to spend all your money on this ring, sir? I don't think that's a good idea. And I think it was falling on deaf ears because number one, Louis' mom said she's been married 3 times, but she's hoping that he learned from her mistakes. And I think he's looking at her like, you can't really give me advice when you've been married 3 times. And she was like, you can have one of them rings. I got all 3 of them in the back. You can have one of them, upgrade it or, shine it up and save your money. And that's what I would have did. I would have took one of them rings, asked them, can they combine some of the rocks, and gave her that. Because if you love him, it doesn't matter the size of the ring, and you know his situation. And again, Louis ain't go looking for Melissa. Melissa went looking for Louis with her high expectations because she was infatuated who Louis was when they were in high school, and him being the popular cool kid in high school and her being the nerdy kid that was in love with him from afar. You went looking for him, sis. So if you really love him, the ring size doesn't matter. And that's just how I feel. Like, it's great to have this great big old rock, but at the end of the day, if he can't afford that, or if you know that's going to take all his money, why would you do that? That's not smart. Latoya said, Louis mama be tripping me out. Latoya said, living out her high school dreams. Exactly. Like, you went looking for him, and then you want to put all these expectations and stipulations. Like, girl, go on somewhere. Love Jeanette said, okay, random. So you know what happened to the Mormon couple? Who you talking about? For Love After Lockup, the guy Lamar, I forgot his girlfriend name. I'm not sure who you talking about. There was a Mormon couple. I'm not sure who you talking about, Love G Nice. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch Louis and Melissa's story, but it's just gonna be a whole lot of nagging and fussing from her and his mama at him while he again trying to make ends. I just think, I feel bad for some of the men on these shows. They have so much on their shoulders, and these women just don't seem to really care. They want what they want. They are not being considerate at all. They're not just stopping to check in on how they're doing. So that's why Mike out here punching out walls and leaving out and stuff. Like, we gotta have some consideration here, and everybody needs to be realistic with their expectations, knowing that they're dealing with an ex-con coming home. That makes everything 100 times harder to get a job, to get an apartment, to just live life. They are already set back because of that, and their expectations on money and just expectations on some of them being faithful because they've done decades in jail looking at men the whole time. So everybody on this show, the new season coming in December of Love During Lockup, Life After Lockup, Love After Lockup. Everybody needs to be realistic and stop living in La La Land. That's the bottom line. Tori said Mike looked like he carrying the baby. Yeah, and that's stress weight. That ain't even like happy and love weight. That's just straight stress. He carrying all that stress right there. He's stressed the fuck out trying to pay all the bills and take care of them 9 kids. Some of them might have to go home to their mamas, cause or take a break in the summer or something, cause that's all he carrying. That's stress. That ain't even happy weight, child. Um. Lovely I said the black couple, his wife. Oh, I know who you talking about. His wife was Mormon and he was from LA with the 2 kids. I forget their name, but I know who you're talking about. He said she got pregnant with the little girl in jail. Yeah, she did. They said they had relations in a closet. How they pulled that off, I don't know. Or why they couldn't have conjugal visits if they was married. But how did they even get in a closet at visit is beyond me. Because if you've been on a visit, they don't even let you like touch each other. Like I don't know how they ended up in a closet in a visit. These jails are not New Jersey jails, because Jersey jails is, listen, it is like you're locked up when you're in there. So I don't get how they even pulled that off at all. But yeah, um, that couple Love D Nice, they go back and forth. They together, they not together. I think he had got in some trouble again and she was announcing it. They are full of drama. We need to have them back, you're right, because they still have a lot to their story to tell, but following through, like according to Amber and Kiki and Kidbits, those pages that really follow all of the felons even after on the show, I've seen a lot of their life still unfolding. They're still full of drama. They still are. But yeah, guys, that's what Latoria said. They're not together anymore. Latoria, I would have to go look and get an update, because it was like she announced the breakup. Then he got into an accident or something and got in trouble for the accident. It seemed like she was supporting him. They back and forth. They like another Shantae and True, honey. Because Shantae is breaking up with True every other day. She moving on. She got other men in her lives. Then she posted a video with True in it today. I just, uh, my mind and my soul is weary with these couples. Like, stop announcing shit and putting me in the group chat for you to just play with me in my face. Like, just stay off the internet with y'all foolishness. But they all up and down and around and around and around. And they make me tired. But those were all the couples. Love D Nice said, I really enjoy this. I hate I miss so many because I'm a regular like this. Yeah, I'm gonna come back probably after 8 o'clock and try to do a recap of Love and Marriage Detroit. Season finale was and do a little quick recap on Real Housewives of Potomac. April said on YouTube, no, GA jails only allow you to hug once when you get there and once when you leave. Like, April, New Jersey jails don't allow that at all. There's no touching. Like, in my younger days, trying to be, had a little cool boyfriend and he was locked up and he touched my hair and they were like drawing out on us because it was like, he could have took something. I could have had something in my hair for him to take. Like, they do not play. You have to wear a long white t-shirt covering your outfit. You can't dress provocative or, real sexy, like going to visit. Like, it is no joke. They do not play. So to even be able to hug at the beginning and the end is a privilege, because they are not doing that in Jersey. I'm telling you, April, they are not. Latoria said, why is Shantae still talking about an ex if she was True? She talking about when she posts, it's never about True. Everything she posts is about True. And I've already said that. She comes across very immature as well. Shantae, like, I don't want you guys to think we're still talking about Melissa and Louis, but yeah, everything she posts is about him, and it's all stuff she should be saying to his face that she hoping and wishing and praying that he do, instead of setting her expectations and boundaries and sticking to them. She posted a video of him dancing with her kids today. Last week she was out at trying to, the other night and last week she was out traveling, drinking, taking shots, all these other men that we don't know in her camera. Anything to get him to click that live and watch her. and come crawling back. They are another toxic couple, and I'm tired of her too. Yet I am gonna reach back out to her because I know y'all guys wanted me to interview her, and she said she couldn't do any interviews till after the 15th, which is today. So I'm gonna reach out to her and do an interview because some of y'all was requesting copies of the DNC from her miscarriage. Y'all are out of y'all minds. Y'all, don't believe that she was carrying twins or children at all, for that matter. So I'm gonna reach back out to her and see if she's ready to do an interview now. She keep checking my stories. I guess she think I'm gonna say something about her, but I'm just tired. I'm done. Especially the fact that you did not sign up for Life After Lockup so we can continue to follow your foolishness and understand where you guys are. And that could have been filmed, his little proposal that didn't last a week before they was broke up again. So Love D Night said she dropped the bag. She should have been on camera getting her money right. Cause every time she go on live, she not in the same place. I'm like, where does she live? Does she have a stable home? Like, what is really happening? So yeah, I'm gonna try to get an interview with her. I'll reach out and see what I could, set up for y'all so we can get an interview in with her. But yeah, I will be back in a little while. Set your alerts. Again, make sure you click the link in my bio and you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see I'm gonna come back and do Love and Marriage Detroit's mid-season finale from Saturday and Sunday's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. So stay tuned for that. Now, before I get out of here, if you have a business or a product that you want me to promote, on my pages, my social medias, my prices are there. If you want to be a sponsor for the podcast and I will promote your business or product across all of my shows, I'm doing upwards of 70 talks a week, plus my, weekly news recap on Thursday nights. You can email me for either what you see above, reality_recap@yahoo.com. Also, my Cash App is down there in the corner. Please make sure you support because the tea is not free, y'all. It's $reality recap. I appreciate all your support so far. Welcome all new followers. We continue to grow on Instagram and Facebook daily, and I appreciate the support. And like I say before I get out of here, always, reality TV stars are humans too. Don't forget that, guys. It's your girl B with Reality Recap, and I will try to check back in after 8 o'clock and do my other tea talks and recap the rest of the show so we are caught up. And I will get back to midday talks, Love D Nice. I promise tomorrow we'll do a midday tea talk for tonight's episode 11 Hip Hop ATL. I gave you 2 sneak peeks on that on my page, so go check them out. Y'all have a good